Hello, this is Bobby25. Today we're going to work on full body morphs in DAZ Studio with your GoZ plugin. Now the easiest way I have found to do this is to make sure that your items are fitted to Genesis, and I always turn on smoothing and interactive updates. Now this right here is very important. If you do not turn this on, this will not show up in ZBrush. So if you're going to turn on this, turn on this. And what I've done here is I have Genesis on, and I believe it's voluptuous. Yep, voluptuous. Someone had requested voluptuous, so I'm doing that one right now. It's kind of one of the harder morphs to do. So what I do is I click Genesis and I hit Shift and click the skirt. Now this will take all of these pieces, including Genesis, into ZBrush with me. Now it is important to remember that if you have things like panties, put them at a high smoothing. I usually do 25. Skirts I do between 5 and 10 because they'll have a bad cracking right here where the hip bone is, and it'll have a huge crack in the butt. The reason panties and pants are so high is that right there in the butt crack. So we will put our panties on a smoothing of 25. And we'll make sure that's turned on so when it comes into ZBrush it'll be there. So let's go ahead and take it into ZBrush. And we have voluptuous, and let's go. Here we are. Now the reason I do this is because I usually work with layered pieces of clothing. Now if you have something that's layered, I suggest doing this because otherwise you have to guess. Does this layer fit on top of this by itself? How does this work? Is this going to work right? If it's layered, just do it all at once. And it's kind of it's total time saver. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the corset. The reason I have it masked off is because it's easier to pull these pieces, and I'm going to hit frame. Get it nice in the front. Now the brushes I usually use are the move tools, the inflate, and symmetry. So B for brush, M for move, V for validate, X for symmetry. Space bar pulls up this dialog and you can make your brush bigger. So here we go. Let's get this done. Now if you don't like it having this look right here, this whole kind of vacuum look, then there is another way to do it. This is called an attached morph. We're doing attached morphs. Now see how it crunched the bow up? I don't like this. I would never use this on my product. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to unfit the corset. And by doing that, I just click on the corset, fit to, and I'm putting it at none, and I hit accept. And I send it right back to ZBrush. Since I made the clothing, I know where it should sit on the skirt. And this is again what I was talking about if you have multiple pieces in an outfit, why it's best to do them all at once. Because now I can see I can see the skirt underneath here. I know where it's supposed to sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving my piece around, and since I know where it sits naturally, and I'm just going to continue to move it around until it fits perfectly. And if you're moving in the space over here, if you hit shift, it automatically stops it and locks it into a good position. So I do that quite a bit. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to push and pull each and every little corner. It seems tedious, but I'm really weird about my morphs. I really like them to look nice, even if it is an awkwardly big annoying morph like voluptuous. Okay. I went ahead and turned off symmetry for a second because I kind of want to move that a little. Turned it back on. Now see how? The chest is really demanding here. Doing it like this by unselecting it also allows me a little more freedom so my texture won't stretch as bad when I'm moving it compared to when letting just DAZ Studio do it itself. Here we are, up at the top. This will also give it a much more natural look than the whole vacuum boobed look that it's really just unappealing. It's just kind of weird looking. Nobody walks around with a wet t-shirt contest all the time. Alrighty, almost done. Look at it from the side. I don't want it floating too terribly much, so I'm going to bring it in just a little bit and just even it out in different places. Alright, yeah, I like the way that looks. Now to get this back into DAZ Studio, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink ZBrush, right click on the courset, fit to Genesis, and hit accept. Back to ZBrush, I'm going to hit Go Z. Now watch what it does. We are on Voluptuous. I've done all the others. This is what I always have. This is my list. All of my outfits have this, except for when we have a new one and then it gets stuck in whichever order it's supposed to be. So I'm going with Voluptuous. These are the correct names. Here in the little drop down, ZBrush Morph name would be the correct name for Voluptuous. Right here, reverse deformations. Turn the no to a yes on existing. Make unique is actually deltas only, because I'm going to override just the deltas. Now watch what it does. See? Not bad. Now I don't necessarily like this weird curvature thing, but since I have it like this, I can just open ZBrush again, and I can start pulling that in and pulling this out. And adjusting my brush size as needed. I want it pretty much like the original, so I'll fiddle with how that looks. It looks pretty good. So let's see how that looks now. Hit the Go Z. Hit accept. See, much better. A lot nicer that way. Now I do suggest doing the unfit on any of the morphs that are very large around the breasts. That would be Ico, the girl, Voluptuous. Bodybuilder's a tricky one. There are actually two morphs. It's Fitness Delta and Fitness Size make up Fitness. Bodybuilder Size and Details make up Bodybuilder. So you don't turn Bodybuilder on and then do Bodybuilder. What you do is you do this one and then this one, which makes up Bodybuilder. So now we're going to restore the shape. Zero shape. It will take a minute because I do have smoothing on certain pieces. So let's go ahead and turn Voluptuous back on. And I already have it still open in ZBrush, so now I can check my other pieces. The jacket needs a little bit of pulling now, so I'm going to go ahead, B for brush, M for move. There we go. And symmetry. Give it a good look around. No poke through, good job. Hit Go Z. There we are. And accept. Back to ZBrush. Go to the stockings. Now see I have some poke through here. I'm going to go B for brush, I for inflate, N for the brush key. And I have it on like a 3 or a 4. And just give it a little tap, because if you just go it's just going to be all over the place. So just tap it. There we are. The shoes might actually work as is. Yeah, I think our shoes might be fine. Go down to panties. They look good. I need to make the brush invisible by turning the eye off. Give her a little smooth by holding down the shift. Make sure to your intensity down a bit when you're doing that. B for brush, M for move, V for validate. That's the brush. Here we go, and just moving it around. There, that looks nice. A little on the sides, hit go Z. Morph name, no to yes, deltas only, accept. Move back to ZBrush, go down to the other stocking. There we go. After a while, you get to the point where it just really becomes a lot of click, 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 move, 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 and you're done. The longer you do it, the quicker it gets. The only thing that becomes a pain is the more pieces you get, because this actually has a lot more pieces to it than what I have right here. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't have any more pieces that are intersecting with each other. These are just all the layered pieces. Back to ZBrush, check the skirt, clean it up right there, and I do have some intersecting going on back here. Now we're going to use the other move brush. Now the other move brush, I hit B for brush, M for move, T, see B, T, whoops, wrong number, B, M, oh, I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on now. There we are. B for brush, M, and we're going to go topology brush. This one's a fun one. Now what we do is we just go over here, and this just pulls what you grab. It grabs the topology that you're working on. I'm going to hide Genesis for a second by turning off her eyeball, and smooth this out a bit. I want a little bit more intensity on the smooth for this morph. There we go. I'm going to move it off and out of way of itself. Clean that bend up. There we go. See how I cleaned up that? Pretty nice. Alright, that's ready to go to be a morph. Now if I was going to go ahead and say I'm done, I'll let this go ahead and finish up. See? It'll take a second. I will turn the body morph off. And now each one of these pieces, I would go to parameters. I'm going to turn off the smoothing, turn off the update, and I will make sure that I have my resolution sub D the level that I need it, and then I would save out each individual piece to the folder they belong in. Make sure you turn off your smoothing and your update before you save, because you don't, when you load it, it's going to load it with it already on. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoy.